So let's talk a little bit about affordability. And it's such a big topic, it probably needs hours and hours, but just briefly. There are some things in our zoning code, in our regulations, that are making it impossible to deliver workforce housing. And as an example, I don't think people realize how much the code is a culprit to why there's not affordable housing in town. And there's a cognitive dissonance because there's a frustration and angst with density, yet density, in many respects, is the reason why we can't have the affordability. So what do I mean by that? Let's take an example. Sansara. Everybody know the project Sansara, which is across from Nancy's Barbecue? It's a new 10-story high-rise. So Sansara is in the DTC zoning district, downtown core, which has a maximum limit of 50 units to the acre. Sounds like a lot, right? It's actually not. When you look at what 50 units to the acre is, it's actually a very low density for a core of a medium-sized city. So what happens? The financial team of a project, not the architect's fault, the financial team insists that the architect maximize the envelope that the zoning allows. So 10 stories, X amount of coverage, etc., etc. They insist upon it. That's why buildings are always basically in a high growth area as large as the zoning allows. So they build the building, and then they divide that square footage into the greatest number of units allowed by the zoning. So if it's a 1 acre lot, or let's say it's a half-acre lot for argument's sake. Half acre times 50 units to the acre is 25 units. So 25 units in a 10-story building means that each floor is divided up into 2 gigantic apartments of 3,000 square feet each. And then the financial team, of course, insists that you sell it for at least the price of the construction. So you say 3,000 square foot unit times $400 a square foot leads to how much? $1.2 million. So if we were to stop fighting the density and actually allow the numbers to be set at a realistic economic level, it wouldn't immediately solve affordability. Of course it wouldn't. But you would actually there's developers that are lined up ready to build smaller units for working families, for starting out singles, for empty nesters wanting to downsize, and they can't do it because the zoning does not allow it. And so there's a whole list of 20 things, we could talk about it all night. But if you were to start removing those obstacles, you wouldn't increase the size of the buildings at all. You would just allow all of those high-rises to be divided up into smaller units.
How do you fix it? You need the microphone if you're going to have any input.